Deuteronomy Chapter 3. Then we turned and went up on the way that leads to Bashan, and Og the king of Bashan came out to meet us, he and all his people, for battle at Edrei. But Jehovah said to me, Do not fear him, for I have given him and all his people and his land into your hand, and you shall do to him as you did to Sihon the king of the Amorites, who was dwelling in Heshbon. And Jehovah our God also gave Og the king of Bashan, as well as all his people, into our hand, and we slew them until there was no survivor left. And we captured all his cities at that time, there was not a town that we did not take from them, 60 cities, all the region of Argob, the kingdom of Og in Bashan. All of these were cities fortified with high walls, gates, and bars, besides a great many rural villages. And we utterly destroyed them as we had done to Sihon the king of Heshbon, utterly destroying every city, men, women, and children. But all the cattle and the spoil of the cities we took as our plunder. So at that time we took the land from the hand of the 2 kings of the Amorites who were across the Jordan, from the valley of the Arnon to Mount Hermon. The Sidonians call Hermon Sirion, and the Amorites call it Sinir. All the cities of the plateau and all Gilead and all Bashan, as far as Salcah and Edrei, cities of the kingdom of Og in Bashan. For only Og the king of Bashan was left of the remnant of the Rephaim. His bedstead, a bedstead of iron, is indeed now in Rabbah of the children of Ammon. Its length is 9 cubits and its width 4 cubits, according to the cubit of a man. So we possessed this land at that time. From Aroer, which is by the valley of the Arnon, and half the hill country of Gilead and its cities, I gave to the Reubenites and to the Gadites. And the rest of Gilead and all Bashan, the kingdom of Og, I gave to the half-tribe of Manasseh, all the region of Argob. All that portion of Bashan is called the land of the Rephaim. Jair the son of Manasseh took all the region of Argob as far as the border of the Jeshurites and the Maccathites, and he called it, that is, Bashan, after his own name, Havoth-Jair, as it is to this day. And to Machir I gave Gilead. And to the Reubenites and to the Gadites I gave the region from Gilead even as far as the valley of the Arnon, the middle of the valley being the border, as far as the river Jabbok, the border of the children of Ammon. And the Arabah, with the Jordan as a border, from Chinnereth even as far as the sea of the Arabah, the salt sea, at the foot of the slopes of Pisgah on the east. And I charged you at that time, saying, Jehovah your God has given you this land that you may possess it, all the men of valor shall cross over armed before your brothers, the children of Israel. Only your wives and your little ones and your livestock I know that you have vast livestock shall remain in your cities, which I have given you. Until Jehovah gives rest to your brothers as he has to you, and they also possess the land which Jehovah your God is giving them across the Jordan, and you return, each man to his possession which I have given you. And I commanded Joshua at that time, saying, Yours are the eyes that have seen all that Jehovah your God has done to these 2 kings, so will Jehovah your God do to all the kingdoms into which you are about to cross over. Do not fear them, for it is Jehovah your God who is fighting for you. And I pleaded with Jehovah at that time, saying, O Lord Jehovah, you have begun to show your servant your greatness and your mighty hand. For what God is there in heaven or on earth who can do things like what you have done and things like your mighty deeds? Let me please cross over and see the good land that is across the Jordan, this fine hill country and Lebanon. But Jehovah was infuriated with me on your account and did not listen to me. And Jehovah said to me, Enough. Speak no more to me about this matter. Go up to the top of Pisgah, and lift up your eyes to the west and to the north and to the south and to the east, and see it with your eyes, for you shall not cross over this Jordan. But charge Joshua, and strengthen and encourage him, for it is he who will cross over before this people and cause them to inherit the land which you will see. And we remained in the valley opposite Beth Peor. Deuteronomy Chapter 4. And now, O Israel, listen to the statutes and the judgments which I am teaching you to do, in order that you may live and go in and possess the land which Jehovah, the God of your fathers, is giving you. You shall not add to the word which I am commanding you, nor shall you take away from it, that you may keep the commandments of Jehovah your God, which I am commanding you. Yours are the eyes that have seen that which Jehovah has done in Baal-peor, for all the men who went after Baal-peor, Jehovah your God has destroyed from your midst. But you who joined yourselves to Jehovah your God are alive, all of you, today. See, I have taught you statutes and judgments, as Jehovah my God commanded me, so that you would do them within the land which you are going in to possess. Keep and do them therefore, for this will be your wisdom and prudence in the sight of the peoples who hear all these statutes and say, Surely this great nation is a wise and prudent people. For what great nation is there that has a God so near to it as Jehovah our God is whenever we call upon him? And what great nation is there that has statutes and judgments so righteous as all this law which I am setting before you today? But be careful and guard your soul diligently, so that you do not forget the things which your eyes have seen and they do not depart from your heart all the days of your life, rather, make them known to your children and to your grandchildren. Especially do not forget the day when you stood before Jehovah your God at Horeb, when Jehovah said to me, Gather the people to me, and I will let them hear my words, so that they may learn to fear me all the days that they live upon the earth and may teach their children as much. And you came near and stood at the foot of the mountain, and the mountain was burning with fire up into the heart of heaven, with darkness, cloud, and deep darkness there. And Jehovah spoke to you from the midst of the fire. The sound of words could you hear, but no form could you see, there was only a voice. And he declared to you his covenant, which he commanded you to do, 10 words, and he wrote them upon 2 tablets of stone. And Jehovah commanded me at that time to teach you statutes and judgments for you to do in the land which you are about to cross over into to possess. So take careful heed to your souls, for you did not see any form at all on the day when Jehovah spoke to you at Horeb from the midst of the fire. So that you do not spoil yourselves and make for yourselves an idol, a form of any image, a figure of male or female, a figure of any animal which is on the earth, a figure of any winged bird which flies in the sky, a figure of anything that crawls on the ground, a figure of any fish that is in the water under the earth. And take heed that, when you lift up your eyes to the sky and see the sun and the moon and the stars, all the host of heaven, you are not drawn away in worship to them and that you do not serve them, which Jehovah your God has assigned to all the peoples under all heaven. But Jehovah has taken you and brought you forth from the iron furnace, from Egypt, that you would be to him a people for his inheritance, as you are this day. But Jehovah was angry with me on your account and swore that I would not cross over the Jordan and that I would not enter the good land which Jehovah your God is giving you as an inheritance. For I am to die in this land, I am not to cross over the Jordan. But you are crossing over and you will possess this good land. Take heed to yourselves that you do not forget the covenant of Jehovah your God, which he has made with you, and make for yourselves an idol, the form of anything, which Jehovah your God has forbidden you to make. For Jehovah your God is a consuming fire, a jealous God. When you have brought forth children and grandchildren and have languished in the land, and you have spoiled yourselves by making an idol, the form of anything, and have done that which is evil in the sight of Jehovah your God so as to anger him. I call heaven and earth to witness against you today that surely you will soon perish from off the land into which you are crossing over the Jordan to possess, you will not extend your days upon it, but you will be utterly destroyed. And Jehovah will scatter you among the peoples, and you will be left few in number among the nations to which Jehovah will drive you. And there you will serve gods which are the work of human hands, mere wood and stone, which do not see nor hear nor eat nor smell. And from there you will seek Jehovah your God, and you will find him if you search for him with all your heart and with all your soul. When you are in distress and all these things happen to you, when you are in the last days, you will return to Jehovah your God and listen to his voice. For Jehovah your God is a compassionate God, he will not fail you nor let you perish nor forget the covenant with your fathers which he swore to them. For ask now regarding the former days, which were before you, since the day that God created man upon the earth, and ask from one end of heaven to the other, has anything as great as this ever happened, or has anything like this ever been heard of? Has a people ever heard the voice of God speaking from the midst of the fire, as you have heard, and lived? Has God ever ventured to go and take to himself a nation from the midst of another nation by trials, by signs and wonders, and by war and a mighty hand and an outstretched arm, and by great terrors, like all that Jehovah your God did for you in Egypt before your eyes? You were shown these things that you might know that it is Jehovah who is God, there is no other besides him. From heaven he let you hear his voice that he might discipline you, and upon the earth he showed you his great fire, and his words you heard from the midst of the fire. And because he loved your fathers, he chose their seed after them and brought you out by his presence, by his great power, from Egypt. Driving out from before you nations greater and mightier than you, to bring you in and give you their land as an inheritance, as it is today. Know therefore today and bring it to heart that Jehovah is God in heaven above and upon the earth below, there is no other. Therefore keep his statutes and his commandments, which I am commanding you today, that it may go well with you and with your children after you, so that you may extend your days upon the land which Jehovah your God is giving you forever. Then Moses set apart 3 cities across the Jordan toward the rising of the sun, that the manslayer might flee there, who slays his neighbor without intent and did not hate him previously, and in fleeing to one of these cities he might live. Bezer in the wilderness, in the land of the plateau, belonging to the Reubenites, and Ramoth in Gilead, belonging to the Gadites, and Golan in Bashan, belonging to the Manassites. And this is the law which Moses set before the children of Israel. These are the testimonies and the statutes and the judgments which Moses spoke to the children of Israel when they had gone out from Egypt. Across the Jordan, in the valley opposite Beth Peor, in the land of Sihon the king of the Amorites, who dwelt in Heshbon, whom Moses and the children of Israel slew when they had gone out from Egypt. And they possessed his land and the land of Og the king of Bashan, the 2 kings of the Amorites, who were across the Jordan toward the rising of the sun. From Aroer, which is on the edge of the valley of the Arnon, even unto Mount Sirion, that is, Hermon. And all the Arabah across the Jordan on the east even to the sea of the Arabah at the foot of the slopes of Pisgah.